What's going on, YouTube? We're back today with another steel testing video. This is a steel that I never really thought I'd be able to test, at least not for a long while. And this knife right here, the Shirogorov F95 NL, was sent in for testing by Aaron. I'll put his Instagram on the screen right now as long as he's okay with that. Huge thank you to Aaron for sending me that to test, as well as this Custom Knife Factory Morph 5 and M390 that we'll also be testing. Two crazy, awesome knives that I never really expected to have in my hands. So this is an awesome opportunity, and I really appreciate it, Aaron. Thank you. So the steel that we're testing today is Elmax, as you guys can see here on this F95. And I couldn't think of a better knife to test this Elmax in. This stuff has great geometry, this knife does, and they do their heat treat very, very well, and it was very apparent. So let's talk about Elmax a little bit. This is made by Böhler Uddeholm. It's a very interesting steel. It has high wear resistance with high corrosion resistance. Normally those two things don't go hand in hand. The only other ones I can think of are M390 and its parallels, and speaking of that, they're very similar. The max working hardness of Lmax is around 62, and most knives are between 60 to 61. It's reasonably tough for being a high carbide stainless as well, which you guys will probably see it in some of the European fixed blade market. Lion Steel tends to use it a little bit, and some other companies over there as well. It's very similar to M390, only has 2% less chromium and 1% less vanadium. Chemical-wise, it should have slightly lower wear resistance than M390 and its counterparts, with slightly higher toughness. As far as production knives go, ZT previously used this steel, but there were reports of it having kind of lower wear resistance than what it should, and that sparked the whole steel HRC debate way back in the day. That was like the OG breaking news story that there were softer companies treating steels to a softer hardness than what they should be. Kind of funny to think about that now, considering the whole M390 debacle. Anyhow, some Italian companies still use it. Like I said, Lion Steel, I think Fox does. I think there's some other brands too. I'm not really totally sure. I don't really look into the Italian stuff too much. There's no definite specs on this knife in particular, but I think everyone that when I was researching it, everyone seems to say it's 61. I've seen 59 to 61 rumored, so I'm not really totally sure. This will be getting sent out to Kurt to be tested, so we will know eventually, but for the time being, we do not. So this one was sharpened at 18 degrees per side, like normal, to 1000 grit diamond, and then stropped on the 16 and 4 micron CBN on leather. I am changing the testing protocols as far as the sharpening goes based on what we learned with Maximate. I'm just going to take all these steels on a strictly diamond progression. That way I'm not losing any performance on any of them. Using ceramics, obviously I'm losing a little bit of performance on the higher carbide stuff. Go back to the previous Maximate video if you guys want to learn more about that. I won't go too in depth with that here. So I've sharpened this one twice. It was a little bit dull when it came to me, so I sharpened it up and I carried it for a day. It sharpened up beautifully. The metal moved very, very easily. Burr popped right off, stropped up easily. Edge came up very, very fine. You could tell it was well done by just how easily it sharpened. I used it that day, and then I sharpened it up again before this test, obviously. And I actually dropped it down about a degree, and same deal, sharpened up beautifully. Burr pops off super easily, which is a huge sign of a proper heat treat if the burr just pops off like that. And you could, like I said, you could just tell it was super well done. I really had a feeling this was going to do very, very well. Edge was 14.5 thousandths behind the edge at 18 degrees per side, and I have never had a knife cut as well as this knife does. It does have relatively thick stock. I think it's 160 thousandths. I'm just throwing that out there. I think that's what I read. I'm not totally sure. But it cuts like an absolute laser beam. And this is one of those knives, those rare knives that I want to use for continued extended cutting. and it's just really, really nice. 14.5 thousandths is absolutely awesome too for a knife of this size. This is not a small knife. It's a 3 3/4 inch blade, I believe. And like I said, stock thickness definitely is not thin. But being able to take it down to that thin at the very edge is awesome. Makes for some great cutting geometry, especially coupled with that flat grind. So obviously we went along and did the exact same thing that I always do, cut cardboard till it can no longer cut computer paper. And I'm not going to beat around the bush here. It cut 390.21 feet. I was expecting this to do somewhere in the 350-ish ballpark, and it did just a little bit more than that. Very, very, very good. It blows away any M390 or 20CV that I've tested to this point, and very, very pleased with those results. Actually, this is the third highest result I've had behind only Maxima and S110V. So a properly heated or heat-treated Elmax is a monster. So that makes you wonder what a properly heat-treated M390 can do with that extra % of vanadium and a little bit more chromium. I know that doesn't really do much, but this is just what a properly heat-treated steel can do. I feel like that's fitting to say right now with everything that's going on with the M390 stuff. If you properly heat-treat a steel like this, it's going to perform well. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. A big thank you to Aaron again, and like I said, I will throw his Instagram name up on the screen, and I might even link it down in the description below if he's okay with that. Should be testing this M390 in this custom knife factory here soon, and we'll see how that does if it's heat treated properly. Looking forward to that one. Anyhow, guys, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Subscribe to continue to see more videos just like this one. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.